Okay.
Was there still 4 lessons?
Something like that. Test to be Thursday. No, Friday. Monday's a holiday.
Please, Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday. Okay, guys.
Like tomorrow?
No, next week. Okay, by the way, test on this is next week, next Friday. It's a 4-day week. Okay? If I need an extra day, well, I'll stretch it out. It's nice to be flexible. It's nice to not have a government exam, right? Just take another day here or there. All right. This is notoriously tricky if years past served me right, and they do. Friday, tomorrow, you're going to have a quiz on completing the square. Yep. Little bitty one.
Like worth 3 marks?
Yeah. Okay. Like 2 questions. I'll tell you what's on it.
There's a quiz?
Yeah, tomorrow. Okay, 1 question A is going to be 1, and 1 question A is not going to be 1. Okay? Oh, look, there's an A. Okay? A quadratic equation looks like that. Do we need to know what form that is? It's helpful, but no. Okay, Brianna. Dana. Let's settle down, okay? And not just you. Don't worry about it. Let's go. Okay, find the roots of this. It says review. How would you do that? What would you do? You know 3 ways to do this. At least 3 ways have been taught. What are roots? X-intercepts, zeros, roots, it's all the same stuff. How do you know where this thing is equal to 0? What's probably maybe the easiest way? Anybody? Factoring. What 2 numbers multiply to 18 negative and add to 7? Okay, but that, double check. I need to get to a negative. Positive is 7 on the bigger one. I want positive. There they are. Okay, when is this thing gonna work? When is this gonna be 0? What value of x is gonna make this 0? -9. What value of x is gonna make that 0? Those are my roots. That's when this thing is 0. Remember, more accurately, where y is 0, where I have zeros, what's my value of y? 0. That's why I solved it equal to 0. Okay? What are the values of x that make this 0? 2 and -9. And I don't know if I've ever said this before, but if you plug 2 in there for x, guess what you're going to get? Yeah, does it work? What's 4 and 14 minus 18? 0. Okay. This one's a little harder. -9 squared, 81, plus 7 times -9, minus 63, minus 18. It's also 0. Okay. That's the easiest way. Do you have a graphing calculator? Well, some of you guys do. Could you do it with that? Sure. Okay. All right. How else could we do it? Did we complete the square yesterday? That's good practice. Let's do that. What's, nope, I'm already thinking quadratic formula. Okay. X squared and 7x minus 18. A's 1 here. Okay. What do I want to do to complete the square? I got nothing to factor out of the first 2, right? Because A's 1, positive 1, right? But what's my next step? What can I write here so I can complete the square? Half of 7 I got to square that, add it, and subtract it. And I still have minus 18. Okay? What can I do with the first three? Complete the square. Okay? And what does this stuff become? That's minus 49 fourths minus 18. What do I need to add or subtract fractions? Common denominator. How many fourths is 18? What's 18 times 4? Yeah. See, Dannon's better at doing this than I am. Seriously. Okay, that's minus 72 fourths, minus 49 fourths. Now I can add it. What's 72 and 49? That's 50 and 71, 121. Okay, still have this. All right. This is not nice, but hey, we did it. We completed the square. How does that help me? What is this? That's my vertex. What's the coordinates of my vertex? P, Q, right? But how does that help me find the answer here? I want the roots. So just like I did here, I'm going to let this thing be equal to 0. I want to solve for the roots. Okay? So how do I solve this thing? Well, let's add this to both sides. Add it here, it's gone. Add it to the other side, it's positive. Okay? What would I do next? Square. Square? Square root it. Right? I want to get rid of that squared. I do that by square rooting it. What do I must remember to do to get both of my roots? Plus or minus. Yeah, that thing squared is just itself. Okay? Anything squared, take the square root of it, it's just the thing. Okay, and I got plus or minus 121 over 4. So x, my roots are, let's subtract that to both sides. Okay? X is minus 7 over 2 plus or minus 121 fourths. Hey, does that look anything like these? This is actually some good review. What can I do with this? Could I, like, split that up? Do you know the square root of 121? Do you know the square root of 4? That's minus 7 over 2 plus or minus 11 over 2. So my two answers are minus 7 over 2 plus 11 over 2, or minus 7 over 2 minus 11 over 2. Okay? I got the same denominator, so I can just add these straight across. What's 11 take away 7? Hey, isn't that 2? Isn't that minus 18 over 2? Hey, what's that? Hey, look. I did it. I did it the hard way. Would you ever want to do it like that? Yeah, that's why we taught you factoring. Okay, it's a little bit easier. But I'm going to show that to my grade 10s and freak them out. Okay? You sure you want to take pre-calculus, young Billy? Okay? All right. Yeah, you don't want to probably do it that method, but hey, it's possible. This is the two roots, okay? We can do it that way. All right? All right. So, what's the easiest way to do this, to find the roots? Yeah, which is a form of factoring, sure. So now, okay, A is not 1, but so I got to go what multiplies to 10 and adds to minus 8. What two numbers? Anybody? Doesn't look like there's too much. Can't factor it. What does that mean? Has no roots? 2x squared minus 8x plus 5. Not factorable. I got no... Oh, I do have roots. Okay? I said this before. I showed you this before. Just because you can't factor it doesn't mean it doesn't have zeros. It just means they're ugly. Okay? What is that 0? One more. Yes. 0.775. If you sat here long enough, I'm sure you could factor that and come up with that for one of the answers. But do we give you 3 weeks to answer this question? No. It's doable. It's just we say you can't factor it because it's not worth factoring it. Okay? And if you don't have a graphing calculator like me in grade 11, guess how you solve for the two roots? Yay! Quadratic formula. What is quadratic formula? Right there. What? What? It's fun. Trust me. You'll like it. Okay?
Why don't you say that about every other chapter?
Well, hey, it's all math, right, Tan? Okay. This is a formula to solve for x when you can't factor it. Okay? And even if you can factor it, sure, you could still use it. Okay, remember I solved this thing for x. That was my two roots. Okay? X was 2, x was minus 9. Those were my two roots. This is a formula for x. How do I get two roots out of here? You see this plus or minus? There's your two roots. Okay? Now in years past, I've maybe actually derived this from that. If you complete the square on this, this is what you'll end up with. Sounds like a good bonus question, doesn't it?
Didn't we have that question?
Yeah, similar, but you just didn't take it this far.
Oh.
This is solved for x. Yeah, you're right. You did kind of get one like that. Okay? Find the roots using quadratic formula. So again, if it says use quadratic formula and you do a different way, sorry, I can't give you credit for it. This is part of the curriculum. It's got to be taught. Okay? So, all of these guys are in this form. What is all this B and A stuff and C stuff? That's what A is. That's what B is. That's what C is. You see how this is in the same form? Okay, I'll say this, and half of you won't bother doing it and listening to me, and you'll end up making a mistake, but I'll say it anyway. First thing you want to do is do this. What is A? What is A here? What is the coefficient of the x squared term for this parabola, for this quadratic? It's 1, right? B. What's B? That's the coefficient of the x term. That's 2. And C is the constant, just the number. What's the number here? -1. The sign matters. Okay? Do that. Just write down A, B, and C. Okay? Half of you are sitting there looking at that going, no, I don't need to do that. I'm smarter than that. I can do that in my head. Well, okay, I'm just saying it. All right? Listen to me if you like. Okay, so then all we do is substitute all those in there, work it down, find out what our two roots are. Okay? Easy as pie. X is minus B. What's B? 2. So I got -2 plus or minus the square root. Do you notice how long I'm carrying that square root sign? Okay, you don't want to do that. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's not this. b squared minus 4 times a times c. How far does that square root sign go in this formula? Over everything, okay? It's got to go over everything, not just the first thing, everything. Did I use brackets when I substituted? I sure did. Okay? A, C, note I put them in here. Okay? All of this is over 2a. Not just the first guy. The whole thing is over 2 times, what's a? 1. Okay? Now, write small and work down because we got another guy we're going to do. I'm not going to worry about that one. Okay? So that equals minus 2 plus or minus. What is all this stuff under the radical sign? You could just put it in your calculator. Here's what you want to kind of make note of. What's the sign on this second stuff? That's a negative times a positive times a negative. What's that give you? This is a positive. I'm adding all this stuff to 2 squared. I'm adding this to 4. Okay? What is this stuff? What's 4 times 1 times 1? It's just 4. I'm adding 4 to 2 squared. So what is 4 plus 4? Okay? Now, let me show you the other way I told you. You want to do that on here? Fine. But garbage in, you get garbage out. Okay? 2 squared minus 4 bracket times 1. I'm putting it in because it's not always going to be 1. Times negative 1. Is that negative going to work? Ooh. No, it's not. Okay? I got to use this negative. Don't ask me why. That's just how this calculator likes it. It's still 8 though, right? Okay? Minus, minus. If you don't put brackets here, guess what you're going to think that is? You're not subtracting 1. You're multiplying it by negative 1, right? Okay? All right. All over 2 times 1 is 2. All right? Do we want to simplify that?
Teachers, please excuse this interruption. Alyssa Finney, would you please come to the office?
If I don't say it, I got this question a couple days ago, you do it. Okay, here it does say it. Exact in simplest form. I don't want a decimal here. Okay? So, root 8 is, let's do it over here because I'm going to run out of space. Right? I have a perfect square in there. That's 4. So that's 2 root 2. Right? So minus 2 plus or minus 2 root 2 all over 2. Can I simplify this? Okay, listen carefully. Does this 2 go in this 2? Or this 2? Or both? Both. It's both of these over 2. Don't write this, but that's the same as this. Whoop. Okay? That's what that says. You remember when you're adding fractions, that's the same as this, right? I got the same denominator, so I just want to write it here. Okay? Both of these things are over the 2. Not just one of them. It's not a half plus 3, right?